Right. So today we will take a quick look at satellites. I've always been saying this class is an interesting class and a sort of discussion to give you a broad knowledge about the outside world. So we will go to our satellites section and know a little about satellites.
Sir, please, with this book, can we get it?
Yes, I'll send it now.
Okay.
Sure. Nothing is motionless. The universe is constantly moving. We all know satellite. Satellite is an object that keeps on revolving another object. So in literally, we can just say the Earth is a satellite, the Moon is a satellite. So something revolving around something can be said as satellite. But there are two main satellites. Two main satellites we have classified. So a satellite is a body that moves around another body that is understeady, like the Earth. So a body which is understeady and it has another body revolving around it will be termed as the host, and the body revolving around it is a satellite. There are two main types of satellites. We have the artificial and the natural one. Now, the natural one, we all know some of the natural one, the moons, the Titan, the Ceres, and so on and so forth. We have the artificial one, the weather satellites, the telco satellites, the internet, so on and so forth. Now, over the years, human beings have sent thousands of man-made satellites to space. In fact, when you go to the exo, when you go to the outer world and around the earth, you see thousands and tens of thousands of satellites revolving around our earth. What are the main functions of these satellites moving around our earth? Right. Now, each one of these man-made satellites have duties it plays. And each one of these naturally made satellites has duties they play. For example, the moon. Someone will ask, what does the moon do to Earth? In fact, a lot of people don't know what the moon does to Earth. The moon helps in the gravitational pull on the Earth. So, for example, the moon actually engages with the current ocean. So, the current of the ocean, so when we say current, so the movement of the ocean. So, the moon's gravity have effects on Earth's ocean. The moon again provides light, natural light for the earth. It's just that these modern times we've actually polluted the space with artificial light to the extent that we can't see the natural light. But when you go to these remote, very remote areas where there are less pollution, light pollution, you will actually see a bright sky which is brightened around everywhere. You don't even need artificially made lights or bulbs. Now let's explore. Our first satellite we will take a look at is the International Space Station, the ISS. This is actually a man-made project. It's classified as a satellite because it's revolving around a body understeady. Which body is understeady here? The Earth. So the International Space Station is also serving as a surveillance to Earth, and it is constantly moving around the Earth. Now, this International Space Station is actually constructed by multi nations. So different nations came together and actually built this. Over the years, It has hosted a lot of people from various nations. So this satellite particular helps actually in conducting experiment, which is way beyond conducting it on Earth. This also helps us in surveillance of the Earth, what happens on the Earth, what's coming to the Earth, are we going to crash with asteroid, and so on and so forth. So the International Space Station is a man-made satellite which is actually revolving around the Earth and actually hosts humans on it. Please, any question? Now we move to the next satellite here. We have the Skylab. The Skylab is America's first space station. In fact, it was a laboratory where the American launched into space. So this one went before the International Space Station, where it was actually in the same let me say the idea that we want to establish a lab in space whereby we can monitor the Earth, we can perform experiments, and at the time it can host quite manageable number of humans in the outer world. So it was called Skylab, and it was in 1971. The next one we will take a look at is Sputnik. Now, this Sputnik, when we consider the history of space exploration, the Russians were part of the first agencies that actually launched things to space. So their satellite was called Sputnik. Sputnik. In fact, Sputnik was launched successfully, and it was meant to revolve around the Earth to bring signals to survey the Earth, to actually detect any collision with other planetary bodies. The next one we can look here is Starlink. So Starlink is an internet providing system or company by SpaceX. Now the developed satellites revolving around, they have tens of thousands of satellites. What this satellite does is it actually emits signals around or to its coverage areas on Earth so that its users can get satellite internet speed to browse on the internet. Starlink is one of the leading internet service providers in our world. Now, all these satellites are man-made satellites. Their main focus is to provide extra industrial activities or extra benefits to the Earth. Satellites plays vital role in our human evolution, because without satellite, we won't know the weather conditions. Without satellite, our flight, we won't know an incoming flight, outgoing flight, we might be crashing. Without satellite, we won't prepare for an incoming collision. Maybe there is an asteroid, there is this, there is that coming to impact the world. How are we going to detect to actually, we know that, so satellite help us know that, okay, there is this comet coming to Earth, and it's going to hit this particular area on this day. Satellite helps us to be able to detect. Without satellite, we will be there and we will just be hit and be wiped away like the dinosaurs. Okay, now we have the weather satellite. This satellite, as its name suggests, it's actually or basically used to detect or monitor the weather issues and the climate of the Earth. So actually helps the climate changes, the increase in temperatures, the what's coming, whether there's a tornado, a hurricane, these climatic conditions, going to be a rainfall or drought, a whole lot. And so based on this, based on data from this particular satellite, we can be able to so you can see some apps when you visit them, they have weather system integrated in it. So when you open it, just tell you your current location's weather automatically. So these data are being taken from this satellite that helps us in our daily activities. We have the GPS. Now, it is everything we do is GPS. So the navigation system, whether you use Google, Apple, all these maps, the GPS helps in to locating signals. So you are at, let's say, one place and you have your GPS on, you can be able to locate, oh, you are in this country, this city, this town at this particular time, or you want to move from point A to point B. Now, the distance from point A to point B is this, and hence, when you move forward, or hence, when you take this route, you are going to get here within this time, or you are going to get here within that time. So this satellite provide data and signals and helps us in our navigation system on Earth. We have the Earth observation satellite. It helps in the remote sensing. It's used for design or spying. So this satellite is actually used in detecting. So sometimes you will be there and you hear on the news that, oh, these people are testing, let's say, a nuclear something here in the picture. Not that they went there to see, but in space we have satellite that's overseeing the Earth, that's monitoring whatever is going on. So when immediately you do something in the open space, the satellite can be able to detect exactly where the thing happened. For example, there was a plane crash for on M370. It was a Malaysian plane that vanished from the Earth. Now, this satellite, the data of this satellite, and France, another plane crash. In fact, no one knew exactly where the plane crashed. But with the help of this satellite, they were able to get data on the last route the plane took when it went down, and the exact area the plane hit. With this satellite, you can actually survey and know whatever is going on this earth, wherever you are. But these data, they are not available to everyone. They are very restricted. So for example, the Pentagon, that's the military powerhouse in the US, the Russians, the Chinese, so the military powerhouses, they have access to this data to actually monitor what's going on around the world.
Sure.
Yes, Gordon.
I've been raising my hands for long. So with this satellite, I don't know. It looks like it is a general. They are all created for a general purpose. Who constructed them? Like, is it that maybe an organization will be there and construct it, and then maybe it will be there whenever they need anything from it. You pay for it before you get it, or it's the government that is constructing them.
Okay.
Especially the Earth observation satellites and then the global position satellites.
Okay.
And then the weather satellite, the one that.
Okay. Now, satellites, we have satellite building companies. For example, we have the Boeing, we have the SpaceX, that's Elon Musk, we have OneWeb, we have a whole lot. They are satellite companies specialized in building satellites. Now, when they build their satellites, they know the satellites they are building for. So maybe I'm a satellite, I have a satellite company. I know I'm building this satellite company for weather signals or to detect weather signals. Now, I launch my satellite to space to revolve around the Earth. I have the data. The data is not free. It's being sold around. So whoever needs that data to make decision would have to subscribe and pay. It's just like the internet service provider satellites. So Starlink, if you want to get the signal, though the signals are emitting, but if you want to get to that network to use it, you have to subscribe. For the observation to most of the time they are built by militaries and the powerhouses. So the Americans they have theirs, the Chinese they have theirs, so they use it. And if an external also wants to use theirs, he or she has to pay for it. So satellites, we have satellite building companies that are actually specialized in building satellite and selling, because that's how they will make money from it. So they sell their data, whatever they get, they sell it. So if you are building a weather app or a weather system, when you are done building the system, you will need a data or you need a source to be able to tell your customers, okay, this is the weather pattern at your site, this is the weather pattern. Now the owner of that app would have to buy an API, application programming interface, whereby this API is going to fetch the data from this weather satellite company. So if I build a weather app for my users, now when they go and know that, oh, today is going to rain, tomorrow is going to be sunshine, or the next day is going to be this, the data they are seeing, I'm paying for it from a satellite providing company whose satellite is orbiting around the earth. So that's how they make money. Are you okay?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. So if you are interested in building satellites, it's fine. You can establish your own startup satellite company. Then you start building satellites. A very interesting field, and actually it's good. You get a lot of money from there, because right now on the earth we are relying on data to do everything. To the navigation system, they also pay from the GPS. To Google, pay from the GPS, a whole lot. They don't have the data, they pay for it from this satellites producing company. But I see now what today, one of the less talked about are satellite companies. You rarely hear about them, but they are the backbone
Yes,
of
it's true.
innovation. You rarely hears about them. If you actually meet 10 people and you ask them to mention even two satellites company, it will shock you. You get none to be able to produce you two satellite companies. They are less talked in our society. All what we are doing is AI, AI, yes, AI, this social media platform, and we are done. But the real people doing the real innovations, the space agencies, the satellites, those who are producing all these, the telecommunications, we rarely knows about them. If you actually using MTN, MTN doesn't have a satellite. MTN is subscribing to a satellite company. So MTN is taking the data from a satellite company, and these satellite company, they are very rare. You don't talk about them. Right. Except some few you sometimes comes across like SpaceX. Yes, SpaceX, then maybe OneWeb, then Varsat, and yes, and some few, but we have a lot of satellite companies that are doing marvelous things. Without them, there will be no planes taking off, landing, and a whole lot. Without them, there will be no navigation systems and a whole lot. Right. Any question before we end the class?
Yes, yes, sir. With the ADICO, with the satellite,
Okay.
I realize then there are a lot of artificial intelligence in satellites, or because it means without artificial intelligence, these satellites are not going to work.
Okay,
So am I right?
not necessarily, because you can. There are so many satellite companies who doesn't use artificial intelligence. Yes. So they will launch some most of this or some of the satellites, they are being controlled from the earth. So they have the ground station system somewhere which controls these satellites. So they are just emitting signals around to take data and be given. So it's like few of them uses artificial intelligence in their systems. Even artificial intelligence needs their data to be trained for you to be able to predict weather patterns. You get it? So you should
Yes,
understand
yes,
that
sir.
without data there is no artificial intelligence. Without data there is no artificial intelligence. Data makes artificial intelligence because you have to train the machine before it becomes intelligent. By you training the machine, you use data, and these data are produced by these satellite companies. Are you okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other question before we end the class?
Hello, sir.
Yes, good one.
So I was told that there is no Ghanaian that has find himself at the space. Is it true? Like,
Yes. So
and to go to the space to how is it? What are the things needed to be able to go to the space? Is it that you have to be a worker or you have to know much about the space before you go there? Because I was told that Elon Musk is constructing a building at Mars. I don't know that it is true. So all these things I want you to clarify them for me.
all right. So when let me stop recording and let's